Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Okay, so we're just carrying on sort of from yesterday's video. And I just placed a couple of these models down. So what I've done is, there, when you spawn, it gives you a reward. So now, when it comes to anything, this is how it's gonna, what it's gonna do. Just like that. So when we go into a gas station and we want like a piece of pizza or something like that, when we activate the prompt, it's going to give us a reward and it's going to do something. It's going to give us the piece of pizza or whatever it's going to do, a tool, anything, and then we can get a reward. So that was the purpose of doing that. Now that we're finished with that, we also have, I made a buy script, which is basically the same thing. It's the same thing as a reward script. Yeah, so now what I've done is I've updated the UI a little bit. Obviously this is just colors. So we have the towing jobs and we have garbage locations. Now, for the towing jobs, what I've done is in the workspace I've placed a object. And this is where we're going to bring the player to, and then once the player is here, similar to what we did for the bins, we'll just activate a prompt, and there's our car. So, and then we need a tow truck, but unfortunately this tow truck here needs a bit of work, so I can't use it. Yeah, so that needs to be worked on, but I haven't focused on that yet. That's moving too far ahead. So, we've got a reward, we're able to get the vehicle. Now what we can do is I can just place that, this object around the map, name it different things, and we can get our location. So in the jobs, we can say towing jobs. For example, if we want to get to the sedan, oh, it's raining outside. We say route to vehicle, there we go. So now it's taking me in the direction. Then I can say stop routing to vehicle. Okay, now I'm in my garbage truck and I want to go to the city storage. So then we say route to city storage. There we go. And that tells you how to get to city storage. Oh, look, it's raining in the game too. Nice. And then we can stop routing, for example. So now why this is important is that in the city, yes, there's lots of garbage, but it isn't going to pay very much. And then out in the remote towns, there's going to be garbage bins and they're going to pay a lot more. So that's going to be factored in. Same with the cards. In the city, cars are going to pay a basic amount, and then any of the remote areas, they're going to pay a lot more to get the vehicles. And that's kind of where we're going. So then this setup pretty much handles all the A to B missions in the game. That's it. A to B, everything is done. Now we just can copy paste this, redesign this, make it look half decent. So from here, the next step is going to be moving into the taxi missions. Now, taxi missions and bus missions are going to be the same, similar. Where the bus missions, we're going to go from stop to stop to stop. Obviously, we're going to pick people up, load and unload passengers. The taxi is similar. We are technically going to have the stop to stop, the A to B, but we're also going to have, I'm going to try and design a free form system. So, in the game, at some point here, I'm going to be adding NPCs that are just going to be randomly walking around. And then, when we take the taxi missions, what perhaps, we'll see, we'll have to see. I think maybe I was going to get into that in this video, but I'm not sure. A little more thought into it. But basically in each location we'll have maybe 3 or 4 passengers, right? So you'll come here in a taxi and there'll be 3 or 4 passengers just waiting here that you can pick up, and I'll have to see how that's going to work, right? Because there's gonna have to be a capacity. The NPC is going to have to be sitting here walking around, and then when we get close in the taxi, it's going to have to activate, etc., etc. So I don't know exactly how we're going to. So that may be I'll have to figure it out, and then we'll have to do that in a video. So that's going to be the next video, handling transportation. We got the buses, and I think I have an additional, there's two more. So there's this one here. I have a motor coach way over there somewheres, and then I have another double-decker bus, which I haven't checked out yet. So we need to figure that out. Right, and as you can see, I've got these parking lots all over the map, which I can populate with that stuff. So yeah, so that's where we're going now. The buyer, this guy, the scrap buyer, he should be... What I was going to do is just make an NPC. Let's see here, let's see. We got to go all the way across the city. There's two. So there's this guy here in the city. And it'll have like a kiosk. And this will be like the city impound. For example, I don't know if the city impound is going to be here. Yeah, it might be. It might be actually. Because we have this yard over here is going to be for something else. Okay. So basically what we need now is we need an NPC. A hobo. Could have a hobo. Let's see. So we just need an NPC. Here, this will work. Alright, perfect. There we go. Alright, so we're going to anchor this NPC. Oh, there is an animate script in here. Oh, that's cool. And it walks. Neat. Alright, anyway, so we can go over that, but we don't need that. Okay, cool. So, here's our NPC. What the NPC needs is this. Maybe we'll put it in... Sure, we can put it in his head. And then what we need to do is this and this. And not the proximity prompt, but that. Now, I thought this was supposed to be in an attachment. Alright, so we can do something like that, and then, of course, I'll have to make sure that the code is updated, and all that sort of stuff. Script apparent, so this and this has to be in there, and then the sound script apparent, that sounds played, that has to be in there. There we go. And then it'll buy the scrap car for whatever, 100, and maybe this will be 50, maybe this is 200. So what will happen, instead of just coming here and activating the prompt and getting the reward, we will get the reward, but what I want to do is I want to tie this into the mini-map. And what I want to do is I want to insert another frame, and we're going to call this dialogue. And what it's going to do is this is going to come up here on the bottom, and then all the dialogue in the game is going to be in here. And then we're going to go insert object, and then we want an image, just an image label. So that's going to be the image, the name of the NPC. Here, let's just do that. And then let's insert an object. Let's a text label, and this can be down here. All right, and then this can just be the NPC name, just like that. And so when it pops up, it'll have the name, and then it'll have an image of the NPC. And then what we want to do is we want to insert another object. Another text label, and this can go here. And this can be our dialogue. Perfect. Bold, and it can be text scaled. And that's it. We can always change the text size, but it'll do that automatically. So then whenever we speak to an NPC, in this case, this NPC here, we're going to get our reward. But let's say there's some information that we want to give to the player. So when we activate this script, and it has the scrap, and it gives us the reward, and it does the saving. Before it does the saving, we could say player dot player GUI, and then this will be dot minimap GUI, and we can say, what is it here? Dot Draylog. Yeah, that's perfect. Dot dialog. We can say dot visible equals true. Now in here we also need a way to close this. So maybe what we'll do is that, and then we will insert an object, and this is going to be a text label, a text button. And in the bottom, it's just going to say, it'll say next, or it'll say closed. Okay, so if there's a lot of information that we want to, we could call this dialog A, and we could duplicate this. And then we could say, call this dialog B, right? And then this one here is going to be visible false. So now what you can see is if we want to give instructions to the player, we can do that here. And then when they press this button, it can do different things. For now, it's just going to close. And then we can just make it bold, and we can scale it, and we can just say close. And then what I'll do is I'll just put in a local script. And it will say equals script dot parent button. Perfect. Script dot parent to parent. Oh, perfect. Yes, excellent. That's what I like to see. Okay, so that will bring up the dialogue. It'll have a close-up picture of the NPC. Let's see. NPC, JPEG. Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, let's see. That's what happens. That's when your boss decides he's going to fire you and he realizes he can't. I love it. I love it. I do. I do. What was it? NPC? Oh, nice. What's this one here? Cool. Okay, so that's a different NPC. So, and then the name, right? So then when we open it up, when we activate the prompt, that's perfect actually. When we activate the prompt inside the player here, what we can do is it's going to make the dialog box visible.true, and then we can set the stats on the visible on it. Sure. Oh, nice. Look at that. Good job. Then it opens it up again, and it says now you can go back to the garage because they keep up the good work. Nice. I actually like that. Some decent, getting some decent AI is starting to be all right. Okay, so then what we want to do is we want to say NPC name, so minimap dialog. Um, no, dot dialog. Dot dialog A. Dot text. And then what we want to do is we want to say player dot player GUI dot minimap GUI dot dialog dot NPC name equals, and then I think the lady's name is Janet. This lady here's name is Janet. And then in there it's going to say good job. Continue. Local cars here. More, let's see, remote cars. Pay a lot more. Okay, perfect. So then we'll just check all that out. Cool. So it should say all that. And then when we press the text button, it should just close all by itself. Cool. So let's check all that out. Let's see. So if we make that visible false, so he's there. So now what we need to do is we need to spawn in. It's creating. We need to spawn in. Let's save it. Oh, I can't use the tow truck right now, so I don't know if that's going to work. Because I had two tow trucks and I deleted this one. Actually, you know what I can do? I'll do this. I'll just do what I do. All right, so let's take this NPC. Let's drag him across the world. Obviously, we'll have to come back and put our NPC back. And now what we need to do is, so it's going to look for, in the workspace, a vehicle called player.names tow scrap. So I could make this vehicle here, and it's going to be in the workspace. So I could duplicate this vehicle. Do that, and then we're going to name it. Now, is it S scrap? No, it's tow scrap without a space. And this is how we test without having to go through the whole loop, because I don't have a truck right now. So I'll have to fix that this evening, today or tomorrow, get that working. Right, so, and as you can see, but it does take time. And I mean, and you can think, it just takes a lot of time and a lot of thinking. How do I connect the dots? How should I connect the dots? What makes the most sense? All right. All right. All right, so we have the scrap car there. So if we talk to the NPC, which is having a hard time loading. Yeah, there we go. Now, name. It's funny that that's NPC name. Yeah, so in this case, instead of this NPC being named Jackson, we could just call this NPC manager, and we can just put them in a kiosk there. And then that way, when we interact with the manager, the little window can come up and it could be somebody else. You know, a lady in an office somewhere, which, you know, would be more the dispatch, let's say. And then, yeah, and then so the dispatch comes up and she says, hey, you know, good job, blah, 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 go here next, right? Or whatever. That's cool. I think it's cool. So that's what we're doing. We're creating mission. So we have that. Now, it said NPC name. Dot dialogue. Oh, dot text. Perfect. Right, and now every time this window comes up, we can set a new name, a new picture, different NPC, different location. So one day you're talking to this manager, and then you know, if it's the garbage, for example, maybe it's a different NPC in a construction hat. Like, I just think it's cool, right? This is sort of we're starting to develop more of that, right? The player experience. And we can do something similar. When we come here and we spawn in the garbage bin, or when we come here and we spawn in the car to tow, we can also have this window pop up, and we can give information to the player, right? Connect to the vehicle, bring it here, whatever. We can do that at that time, and that's really important what we're doing. And because we can change the picture, we can have different pictures along the route if there's different objectives, whatever. Yeah, I think this is neat. Neat. So, we're going to focus on selling the car, then we'll focus again on picking up the vehicle. Let's see. Yes, there we go. Everything went through. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Now, we may not want to do this every time. So, like, this is where you can decide. Um, we don't want to have every time the player tries to pick up a bin, a dialogue box pops up. That's going to get annoying fast. For example, in this game, we're gonna have like storyline missions, and then we're gonna have freeform missions. So in the storyline missions, we're gonna want the dialogue box, but in the freeform missions, we may only want the dialogue box in this situation that we just created here, where we're here, we've picked up the vehicle, we've now driven to the scrapyard, and we want to sell it, and then the little dialogue box up says, "Hey, good job," blah, blah, blah. Right? It's perfect. It's perfect. Okay, so now we can take the NPC. We can get rid of that. We know that works. We can take our NPC back. I'll have to see why he's changing in the way he does. Doesn't seem to make sense, but all right. Where are we here? Jackson. Right, and now what I need to do is I need to build a kiosk and an entranceway, and it continues. So what I like about this too is that maybe perhaps, you're lost or you're not too sure where to go. Just by creating one mission, look at all these things that we need. We have to create this and this and this, and what that does is by creating all these things, it gives us more ideas to continue on and to do other things. So that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. What do we do? Just some interface work, really. That's about it. Like I was saying, these next few videos, it's just coding. There isn't a whole lot of modeling anymore. It's going to be a lot of thick coding. So yeah. We're now able to expand on the tow truck missions. We're able to expand reasonably on the garbage bin missions. So in the next video, we'll focus on the taxi and the bus. And that'll be it. And that should pretty much cover it. And then, like I say, after that, it's the A and the B. Go here, pick up gas. Go here, deliver it. And that's where we're going to have locations for that kind of stuff too. But that system is already built. We already have that system with the bins and with the towing of the cars. So that's why I'm saying it did take a few days to get that code in, but now that code is in, it's universal and we can just expand on it. And now with the passenger system, we need to develop that because we also have the subway and we want to make it seem like when the subway stops, people get on and off and all that sort of stuff. So there's going to be a whole, probably maybe 3 or 4 videos of that potentially coming up. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next videos.